Hello and welcome to another development diary for Imperator Rome. So just before we start this, I just want to say yes, I was quite disappointed with the previous two dev diaries, but I went into this one thinking from the get-go that I was going to ignore what I felt about the dev diaries in the previous two ones, and I wanted to take this on its own. I didn't want my opinion of this dev diary to be sort of clouded by what had come previously. But let this stand alone. And yeah, so, let's have a read, and then I guess we'll go into it afterwards and have a talk about it. So, hi everyone, and welcome to another dev diary for Imperator. Today we'll be talking about the economy and the buildings in a city. First of all, we have tax income. As mentioned in the chapter about pops, the tax income of a city is primarily based on how many slaves you have in that city. Then, of course, there are several modifiers that affect it, like access to trade goods, stability, ministers, and some factions, when in power, may increase your tax income. Okay, I've seen a lot of people saying that slaves shouldn't increase your tax income, or they shouldn't be tied to tax income, and I think I was one of them. I think I mentioned that in a previous video on this. I have since changed my opinion on that. I do think slaves would be better off as a modifier than an actual pop. But if they are going to stay as a pop, then yeah, tax is more appropriate, because yes, the slaves were the ones that they worked the fields and stuff, some for the most part, but they were also, like, the way Rome's tax system worked was they taxed your property and your holdings, and they had a group of tax people going out. And basically they would take an account of what you owned, and slaves would be a part of that, and then it would tax you on what you owned. So slaves being a part of what is taxed sort of makes sense. I think it was Invicta that did a really good video on the way that tax is collected in the Roman Empire, so if you want to check out Invicta's channel and search for that, that's a very, very good video. But anyway, let's just keep going. This is not the important part. Secondly, there is commerce. This is only present if you either import or export trade goods from a province. Each trade link provides some income, and the amount of citizens you have increases it, while marketplaces and other factors increase it as well. I really like this. I like the idea of having trade work this way. I much prefer trade to be on a provincial level than on a trade node level like it is in EU4, so I'm actually really excited to see how this particular system works out. Yeah, I can't say much more than that. I'm really, really in favor of this trade system. Much better. Okay. There are also various economic policies that affect your income and expenses on a country level, but we'll go through these in a later development diary. Fine. Finally, each city has few building levels. Each city can have at least one building, and each additional 10 pops in that city allows another building level. This is a system that I really didn't like in EU4, where the amount of buildings you were allowed in a certain province was tied to the development level, and having it tied to the pop level, it just really kind of feels the same. And yeah, you can make the argument that you wouldn't have so many buildings if there weren't as many people, and smaller cities have fewer buildings, blah blah blah. I don't know. I'm not too positive about that. Currently, these are the effects of the building types, but that may change during development. Training camps give plus 10% manpower and plus 10% experience to units built in a city. That's the first time that experience has been mentioned in a dev diary, to my knowledge. I believe it was mentioned in an interview that Johan made, or gave even, but this is the first time it's been confirmed in a dev diary, so yes, your units will have experience. Whether that is the same as drill in EU4, or whether it's its own thing entirely, we have yet to see. Fortresses give plus 1 fort level, basically like EU4. Marketplaces each give plus 20% commerce income, and granaries give -1 unrest and plus 10% population growth. And that's it. There's 4 buildings. There's 4 buildings, and that's it. And it doesn't look like this is, oh, well, they're just showing us a selection of the buildings that will be in the game. Because, I mean, look at the image that we've been given, right? These are the buildings here. We have the training camp, we have the fortress here, we have the marketplace, and we have the granary. Tell me, where in this UI would you put more buildings? Because there isn't any more space for more buildings. It doesn't exist. This is it. There are 4 buildings in the game. And that's just not enough. Where's my harbours? Where's the aqueducts? Where are... I mean, we've got granaries, but where are, like, farm buildings? Where are tax collectors? Where are public baths? Where are... oh, just so many things that you could just add. But 4 is meager. I think... I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we look at the games that are currently supported by Paradox, and hell, we can even add in Victoria 2, because, I mean, it is the latest in the Victoria series, so we'll count that as well. This will be the game with the fewest amount of buildings that Paradox has right now. EU4 has 8. CK2 has, oh, God knows how many. I mean, there's probably like 15 for Christians alone, and then, no, there's more than that. You've got different buildings, whether you are a baron or a, whatchamacallit, the guy that owns the city, a mayor. Then the clergy has their own building tree. Tribes have their own building tree. Different religion, like the Muslims, have their own building tree. The Slavs have their own building tree. The Byzantines have their own building tree. If you're a merchant republic, you have your own house, and that has its own building tree. There's probably upwards of 100 different types of buildings in the game. And here we have 4. Ooh, anyway, each building type can be built multiple times. I mean, that's a bonus, sure. And if you have 4 slots in your city, you can fill them all with granaries if you so desire. Of course, you can order the building of multiple buildings in a city at once, and they will be built in a queue. Okay, that's fair enough. I just want to show you quickly. I've took a couple of screenshots of the other games I'm talking about. So this here is EU4's base game, and there are 8 different types of buildings that you can build. And actually, I'm wrong there. There are 10 because I forgot to split these into 2 each. So yeah, we've got the trade buildings. There's these I'm counting as 1. Then governments, I'm actually forgetting here, so that's 11. I really should have checked this before I did it. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm going to count these as all 11, right? Because they're just manufactories, and you can't build multiple manufactories in the same place. And this is an old screenshot because it doesn't have the furnaces, but you get what I'm talking about, right? There's more buildings here. Let's have a look at a mod that I've been playing on my channel, Imperium Universalis, which is surprisingly built in the same time frame. So here is Imperium Universalis, and this has 26 types of buildings. And while I was making this, I was like, this is too many. And I kind of still stand by that. I do think it is a little bit too many. But I think the problem with Imperium Universalis with their building trees are that the images that they've used are incredibly samey. They're not distinct enough, so you can't really make out the differences between them, and that sort of makes it a bit of an annoyance trying to find a certain building to build. If all of these had a very distinct art style and were, you could see at a glance that this is this building, then I think this would work out pretty well. But 26 is probably a little bit too much, and yeah, there's tax collection, we've got army and defense, so like these sort of like the garrisons, I guess, that we have in Imperator. We've got culture buildings with the baths, odiums, colosseums, embassies, we've got lots of government buildings, production buildings, mines, apothecaries, like pantheons and so many things, harbors and navies and religious buildings and trade buildings and roads. And it's just, I mean, in comparison, it's just so little. Like these 4 buildings here, I can't remember the name of them, they're special buildings, but they are unique buildings. This here is more than Imperator Rome is going to have. Well, it's the same as Imperator Rome's going to have. That's so few. 4 is too few. And let's go on to mayo and taxes, which I think has hit the sweet spot here. So we've got art and education, we've got, these are the art buildings, these are the universities, we've got a split trade, sorry, not a trade, a split building group here. We've got the communication efficiency buildings, and we've got the military ship buildings. And yeah, that's 3 and 4. We've got town development, so like your town center kind of thing. We've got trade and economy. We've got the workshops, and we've got the trading workshops. We've got mines. We've got down here the granaries and stockhouses and warehouses, or whatever they're called. I believe these are actually separate buildings here, so I should not have labeled these as 12 and 13. They should have been, or maybe they are. They have got the arrow. Maybe I was wrong there. But yeah, these are like stock exchange, and I forget what this one is, but yes. We've also got roads. We've also got fortresses. We've also got these are the cathedrals, or I mean they're culture dependent on the name. But yeah, there are what? I'd say 15, because there's also the Grand Cathedral that you can build, but that's a special building. It's not one that you can like click a button here and start building. So yeah, 15 different types of buildings. And this doesn't feel like too much. And then we go to Stellaris. Even Stellaris has got more. I mean, this isn't even all of them, because look, we've got a little bit of a scroll wheel here. And here we have, what's that, 12? That we can see, and we know there's more than that. Where's the planetary defense laser thing, and the military academy? Not the military academies here. There's just so much. There's so much that is missing. And then we have here 4 buildings. I don't know, man. I don't know. Alright, so, I mean, we've got 4 buildings. Let's have a look at some of the responses. Each building type can be built multiple times. We already knew that. He's talking about the trade here, and saying that he's not exporting anything as he still has +1 here. So this is right here. The +1 means he's not, like, exporting it, I think. I guess we'll have a little bit of a better understanding of what all these buttons mean in time. But he's saying here, Neapolis has 4 trade goods. The 2 goods with +1 indicates a surplus, yes. And thus can be, he should have said can be exported. He's importing cloth from Roma. So this one's cloth. Maybe if you click on this, you can you'll be able to see where it's from, perhaps. Maybe, is it in, I don't see any, I mean what's this thing called again? The tooltip. It doesn't say anything about it coming from Rome, but yeah. Moving on. Another point I would like to make: how granaries should not increase population growth, but population capacity. Right, this one I actually agree with, and I'm going to actually see if I can show all posts and find that, because it is a bloody good comment. If I search for it like this, granary. Must be on the next page, perhaps. Because it was a good comment. Is it here? No, maybe the next page. Sorry, I should have looked at this first before I showed you. Because I mean, this is a really good comment that I want to show. Oh God, where is it? Come on. But again, there's a lot of dissent on this. Granary. God damn it. Why can't I find it anymore? Ah, here it is. There we go. Another point I would like to make, how granaries should not increase population growth, but population capacity. If these mechanics are the only thing you wish to show regarding buildings and population growth, by the end of the game, every city that has not been ransacked will have an extremely large population. I imagine min-maxing Rome with granaries to achieve astronomical population growth, which would be unrealistic. On the other hand, I can imagine in-game it should be at least theoretically possible to have a burgeoning metropolis of 1 million people supported entirely by grain shipments from the Egyptian provinces, Tunisia and Sicily. The supply of grain was very important, and currently the game does not seem to model this. Yeah, I mean, I definitely sort of agree with that. Because there's another comment I want to show you as well. I really should have sorted this out beforehand. I apologize. But basically, the idea was that, yeah, I think this is it, yes. Cities get big and stay big because of large populations, not in spite of them. Rome got big because everyone wanted to go to Rome, and stayed because of a large grain supply. Rome didn't get big because it had too much grain, it got big and then needed more grain. That there is the comment that I was looking for. So, if we go back to the first page and have a look at the modifier for granaries, plus 10% population growth for granaries, it sort of feels like the food buildings in Stellaris, where the more food you have, the bigger your population grows, and it should be, it's like doing it backwards. It should be the more population grows, the more it wants to grow, and then you need the food to supply that. So the food should be the capacity, not the growth, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of all I really wanted to say. Let's have a look, see if there's any new dev responses since I looked last time. What level is game development by Paradox influenced by possible suggestions or ideas? This should be fun. It varies. We're often listening and will consider feedback ideas fairly and equally. When we don't implement what may seem like a great idea, we have good reason for not doing so. This is an aspect of the feedback development cycle which is often misunderstood. My Picante Pirate outfit pack may be a wonderful, well thought out feature suggestion with a gazillion agrees and a resounding potential fan base, but it may conflict with our vision for the game, the technical capabilities of the game, or a feature you haven't heard about yet. And he's bolded this, so maybe, I mean, I hope that that's sort of like referring to the dissent on the previous dev diary, and yes, you don't like this, but you haven't seen that it works really well with this system that you were going to love, blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean, that's basically all I want to say. I like the commerce system, I like the trade system. I don't like how few buildings there seem to be, and I don't like that it doesn't look as if you can add more buildings with mods, because the UI just doesn't seem to have the capacity to support that. And I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong, but I can't see that being the case. So I will leave you there. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to click the like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And again, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if you disagree with me and you think this is a fantastic dev diary and you're happy with the amount of buildings. Please do let me know. And I will see you guys next week for another dev diary. Actually, no, I won't, because Swedish people go on holiday in July. So next dev diary will probably be in about a month. So yes, I will see you then. Thanks for watching, guys, and bye-bye.